Did you know that syrup grows on trees? Okay, not really, but it does come from the sugar bush. If you've never been to the sugar bush, take a trip with me and see how maple syrup is really made.
Welcome to the sugar bush. So how do you get maple syrup? From maple trees, of course. There are several different kinds of maple trees. Our sugar bush here is made up mainly of sugar maple and red maple. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how we make that delicious stuff that we call liquid gold. It takes about 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. So it would take about 3.5 of these buckets to make 1 of these bottles of syrup. And sap usually only runs for about 4 to 6 weeks out of the year. So when it starts running, it's all hands on deck to try and gather as much sap as we can to make sure that we make enough syrup to get us through to the next year. In the summer, the leaves of the sugar maple use photosynthesis to convert sunlight into sugar. Later, to prepare for winter and the loss of its leaves, the sugar migrates to the trunk of the tree and is stored in the form of sap. That sap is what we need to make maple syrup. Now obviously, we can't gather the sap when it's frozen. We have to wait for late winter, early spring, when the days are warm but the nights are cool. That fluctuation in temperature creates a cycle in which the sap repeatedly thaws and freezes. This cycle creates a burst of pressure in the tree that causes the sap to flow. The first thing that we need to do before the sap starts running is called tapping. Tapping is the process of inserting spouts into the trees and either hanging a bucket off of it or running it through a pipeline that leads into a huge storage tank. Once the sap starts running, it's time to gather. We throw on our rubber boots, grab our gathering pails, and head into the bush. Now that we've gathered some sap, it's time to boil. Sap is essentially a mixture of maple sugar and water. And in order to get it to syrup, we have to remove that water by boiling. So the sap that we've gathered gets pumped into this storage tank and then gets filtered down into the sugar house and into the evaporator so that we can boil out all the water to make maple syrup. We need a rip-roaring fire to get the sap boiling. Once the temperature of the sap reaches 220 degrees Fahrenheit, it is now delicious maple syrup. Producing syrup can be a lot of hard work, but there's nothing like sitting down to a fresh stack of waffles or pancakes and pouring over this delicious stuff that we worked so hard to make.
If you want to know more about maple syrup and the sugar bush, here are some fabulous books that you can borrow from the library.